we should be kicking live in any second now. Just
okay.
All right. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Congratulations to all the people that are Chiefs fans. Whatever. And we just kicked off game 2. Anyway, we'll keep you updated, but we won't keep you that long either. Thanks for joining us tonight. I decided to bring a friend. Grant Stinchfield is a buddy of mine. He does all sorts of great stuff down there in Texas, and so clearly he's got his pulse on all things Texas and what's going on at the border. Grant, good to see you, buddy.
Buddy, it is great to be on with you. I'm loving you doing this on a Sunday night, and I hope I don't get you kicked off YouTube.
Well,
they kicked me off.
Well, we're going to get you back on, and this is your intro back.
Okay.
It's funny because I've done this now, I don't know, 3-4 times. I did it on a lark once because it was before the Iowa caucuses, I guess. And people, it's amazing how many folks really enjoy getting on and engaging. So thank you all for doing that. Let your friends know that we're on. Before we get going, Grant, tell people where they can find you, because I think I work hard, and then you tell me what you do all day, and I'm like, holy smokes. You've got like a podcast for your podcast. Your podcast has kids. You got a show. Tell us where are you these days?
All right, I'll give you the rundown real quick. AM 870 in Los Angeles. I do morning drive from 9 to 12 Eastern time, so 6 to 9 LA time on AM870.info. And we stream that on Rumble, and it's actually doing really well on Rumble. My co-host and I, we have so much fun. So you can find us on Rumble as well. I do a podcast every day on Rumble, starting around noon Eastern time. And then I have the Real America's Voice show every night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So
dude, that is a hardworking man.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, I used to own businesses and stuff, Sean, where I didn't have to really work on the trucking company and auto mechanic stuff. I didn't have to work, but it was stressful. This is not stressful.
I will say that. I agree. I love doing this and engaging with everybody.
Yeah.
Maureen, thank you, by the way. She loves this format. I do too. I mean, the show's great. I love it. Every night we pick a guest, but like when I get to hear what people want to talk about, and I guess that like I want to kick this off because with a question to you, but we all hear about the border, and the thing that pisses me off watching some of these Sunday shows is they're all like, there's this great compromise that's on the table, and Republicans, and I keep thinking to myself, I'm here just outside of DC. I on 9/11 drove by the Pentagon burning. And we as a country, everyone said, never again. We're not going to let that happen. And then we've got, I was telling you the other day, you and I were texting, I'm watching your show, or I'm listening to your show, and you played the video. Obviously, I can only hear it because I was just listening to the audio version on your podcast of that dude who says something to the effect of, you don't know, you're not smart enough to know who I am. You're not smart enough to know who I am. And then it finds out this guy's a friggin' terrorist. And I don't, And like you brought this up on your show, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why this is a partisan issue. Yeah. But like you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about it on your podcast, that it was like, dude, he's saying he's going to, like, this has got all the makings of a guy who's coming to the country to do us harm, because he kept saying, what was it? Something like, you will know my name soon. Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck is happening that we lit there and you've got all these numbnuts on CNN going, well, there's the outline of a deal. And yet if it wasn't for Trump, and I'm like, no, it doesn't matter who it is. No one should take the stupid deal. This is our national security.
Yeah. First off, I think it's important to remember this deal is not a border security deal. It's an immigration processing deal.
Bingo.
Okay. Immigration processing deal is not what we need right now. And really, we don't even need any bills or money or anything. Just go back to enforcement law. We could talk about that in a little bit, but that guy was chilling. Sean, as you were telling the story again, just thinking about that guy, I get goosebumps because he was so arrogant. And I know those Islamic jihadists, terrorists, they're arrogant. You're too stupid to know who I am. Soon you will know who I am. And I remember the faces. I was working for WNBC on 9/11. I was in New York. I was one of the first to get to ground zero, and I will never forget the terror on people's faces running the other direction. And I thought that one guy coming across the border could be the next guy to cause the next 9/11. Soon you will
Yes.
know who I am. So then there were a lot of investigations. Jovan Pulitzer had figured out that he was pretty sure it was this guy, Samanov, I believe his name was, from Ahmadinejad.
I know. I'm not even going to try to say it.
Yeah, I can't believe I can't get it
Armad.
out.
I can't.
Ahmadinejad, yeah, whatever. So do you know what the left did, though, Sean?
Oh, I think. Well, I don't, but I know what you said initially, and it's like they tried to humanize this guy and be like, these are all like allegations, and it's like, what I don't know if that's where you're going, but I was just
well, so it was these are allegations, and he was a freedom fighter, and then it became that's not him, okay, and so it doesn't
like
matter whether it's him or not. Like it doesn't matter which terrorist it is. It's the fact that a guy just threatened to blow us all up.
Right. That's the thing, is that they're like, no. You have the first of all, who cares? The bottom line is, and of the 3 million plus or whatever that have come in the country, who knows? By the way, real quick, Grant, because you've mentioned Rumble a couple times.
Yeah.
Mark, I see your comment there about how showing some Rumble love. I'm on Rumble. I love it. We are working on that. So when we do this in the future, it will stream on all platforms at once. We are doing this slowly and iteratively, and also but the team is trying to get this to stream on all platforms, including Rumble. But don't I love Rumble. There's a reason that Grant loves Rumble, because we recognize that they're committed to free speech. So the show airs every night. I know Grant's obviously there. So Mark, I get it. And
I want them to know some truth though about this, Sean. I do love Rumble. And they do embrace free speech. And I do have freedom to say whatever I want to say there. The problem is the revenue model is not great on Rumble. And for people that are trying to make a living doing this, it's very difficult to do that on Rumble. YouTube, you can. Facebook, you can. Though they shut me down on Facebook, basically a quiet shadow ban, making a few $1,000s a month. And I get shut down for a fact check but that's a whole nother story. So the problem is these outlets like YouTube and Facebook and all, they have a better revenue model, but they make it very difficult to do our jobs, which is why, Sean, I totally understand why you're doing both. You have to do what you can for as long as you can do it to make as much money as you can, doing it all the while spreading the word. And YouTube has a bigger reach than Rumble, but I'm dedicated to Rumble because they embrace my free speech and they don't shut me down. It's just very hard.
And Mark, I'm seeing your comments. It's not even that it's hard. Yes. So we are committed to getting on there for these live events. My show every night does stream on Rumble. So if you go to my page on Rumble, you will see the show. If that's where you want to watch it, God bless you. I will tell you, I agree with Grant. The one thing that Rumble is awesome when it comes to free speech and the platform and everything they do. And I hope they will get there at some point. I've met with, they're great people, by the way. But the YouTube model financially is still better. And if you're like Grant and myself, when you make a commitment to independent media and you get out there, you'll notice that when we do this stuff, there's no paycheck. You guys, your support of our sponsors is what does this. And so part of the reason that subscribing and growing, it's not just a catchphrase. Doing this is critical. So I'll just say this right now. And I've told people before, if you can go to Rumble and YouTube and just hit that subscribe and notification button, and same with Grant, go to Apple. If you're not subscribed to Grant's podcast, go there, subscribe to that, and then go to mine. But the subscriptions, that's what our sponsors look at, how many downloads you're getting, how big it is. So if you want to help us in independent media, and that's the beauty, I am an all of the above guy. I want to help Grant. I want to, do what I can to help Ben Shapiro get the #1 rap song in America, for goodness sake. But I applaud it all. I want everybody. We are a country of 335 million people in a huge world. So we got plenty of room for everybody. And we need more people on the right talking about what's going on in the government and in politics. So I'm all of the above, but please do what you can. When you talk to somebody that says, hey, I heard something great about that Grant Stinchfield said, or Sean Spicer, just say, hey, do me a favor. They've asked that you subscribe. That's it. It doesn't cost you anything. Right. Anyway, Maureen, thank you, by the way. You did. We're still not going to be able to say it, but this gentleman was the chairman of the Islamic Party. Plus, apparently there's some stuff going on in Poland.
Azerbaijan.
See, once you said it, I could say it.
Yes.
I feel like I'm back at the podium getting made fun of. Although these days, had I gone after Corinne Jean-Pierre, I could have been
Oh,
like, man, she can't put together like cat. She's like, I mean, and no one says a thing. She gets a pass every day and twice on Sunday.
Well, you know, the fish rots from the head, right? So she literally is just mimicking the exact same method that Biden uses of saying a lot of nothing and often messing up.
So can I get back to I want to ask you where I was hoping to start with this. There is I don't think people appreciate the threat that we're facing at our southern border. You're down there in Texas. I was listening to, like I tell people all the time, I watch all the Sunday shows because I want to be able to talk about them on Mondays and Tuesdays on my show. And I'm also addicted to it. I will admit that I love watching it. Although I wish somebody could just kill Meet the Press. Not kill it, cancel it. It's dying a slow death and it's embarrassing to watch. That's another story though. But all of these guys today kept whining about how Republicans don't want to sign on to this deal. And it's such a good deal. And I kept thinking to myself, why are we compromising on national security? So from the perspective of a guy in Texas, what do you, not just you, but where do you think the average Texan is right now? If you walk down to Del Rio or a bunch of these people and said, hey guys, they got a deal in Washington, should we take it or not? What do they say?
So look, Texas is a very red state once you get out of the major cities. So Dallas is blue and San Antonio's blue and Houston's blue. So, but once you get out of those cities, everyone's going to be right there with me. I mean, I'm wearing my Come and Take It shirt. You know, that's a great old story from the town of Gonzales. Mexico wanted their cannon back. And long and short of it is they said, come and take it. We're not giving it back to you during the Mexican-American War. And so right around Alamo times. So most Texans would stand with us. We wondered why Greg Abbott waited so long. It's amazing. Greg Abbott went from a week. Can you curse on this show or no?
No, please don't. Okay. I don't know what the rules are, but
you don't do that. You don't like that. Okay.
Well, so, it's not, I believe listen, I have a sailor's mouth.
Okay. So he went from a weak wussy with a P, okay, to being George Washington. I'm like, how did this happen?
It's amazing. Every time I talk to somebody from Texas, they're like, Greg, and I always used to, as a guy that's in Virginia, they always say, I always thought Greg Abbott was doing a great job. And they'd say, no, Greg Abbott talked a good game, but in the last couple of weeks, that man has shown up.
Yes.
He is on fire. And
you want to know my theory?
I do.
I think Trump called him. And I think Trump said, you stand firm on this. Maybe you be my attorney general. Maybe you be Homeland Security, but you stand firm on this. And Trump ought to go down there with all 25 Republican governors and go down there and go to Shelby Park.
So I actually thought that he was already thinking 2028 and he wants to be the guy that.
Oh, he does want to run for president.
Yeah, right. I'd rather run for president as governor of Texas, though, than I would Secretary of Homeland Security.
I think Greg Abbott stands a good chance of losing next time around.
Really?
If
After
somebody.
This?
Well, this is a game changer for him because it really put him at a level where none of us strong conservatives in Texas put Governor Abbott ever. So I've applauded him. I'm not going to take it away from him. I applaud him on this.
Okay, but just so I understand, so right now there's a deal. Well, first let me ask this. I got asked this today. I was actually at 7-Eleven after church. I wanted they got this fountain. It's like the 7-Eleven version of Gatorade, but they have it a fountain drink. And so anyway, I was like, that was my after church drink. And this guy looks at me in line and he goes, who wins? And I'm thinking, is he talking football? Like what, I mean, there's like 4 people in the line at 7-Eleven. And I kind of just looked at him like, okay, what are we doing here? And he goes, Texas or the Biden administration. And I looked at him, I go, oh man, I didn't see that one coming. But I said, I think this goes back and forth, but Texas ultimately wins. Do you think that's how this thing ends?
No matter what happens, Texas wins.
No. But I get, but
this is important. No, I mean it.
But
so
explain
even if
what
the
you mean
Biden
by
administration wins, even if the Biden administration wins, that somehow the Supreme Court actually issues a ruling with an opinion, which they did not issue the last time around, and somehow the Biden administration goes in and takes over Shelby Park, or the Biden administration starts arresting National Guard members, or he federalizes the National Guard, or we put DPS agents, Department of Public Safety agents down there, and the FBI comes in and arrests them. Any of that happens, Texas wins and Governor Abbott wins. It's what Dan Bongino called it, a cold civil war. I think that's actually a good term for what's going on right now. This is the start. This is Fort Sumter.
But just walk me through. I get that but how does this just go? Give me the TikTok of, say, the next 14 days.
I believe there's no way the Biden administration can do anything. Joe Biden can't.
The funny thing is, I think that they overplayed their hand, and they are now, because I don't think that they saw this coming. And here's the thing that's interesting. I always tell people when I work for Trump, and I've got a bunch of stories that I don't mind, but where it was funny, and I admit, like I'd worked in the White House before, or in the executive office of the president. And I remember when I was at the U.S. Trade Reps office and we would talk about NAFTA, and everyone say it's in force. And that means that you can't, it's like it's law. And then when Trump came in, his answer was, I don't care. It sucks. Like, it's not a good deal for the American worker. We're going to fix it. And he was willing to sort of think outside the box, do something different that no one in government had done before. And that is the ethos of what Trump's willing to do, is just break glass, whatever. The thing with the Biden administration is I think they thought very myopically, and they were like, okay, well, what's Texas going to do? We're going to get a ruling from the Supreme Court. What's he going to do? It's not like he's going to defy us. And Abbott took a page out of Trump's playbook and said, checkmate, dude. And that's the thing where I give Abbott a lot of credit, because I assumed once that ruling came out, it's the Supreme Court, he's going to back down. And Greg Abbott said, no, au contraire, mon frere. The Constitution says this is an invasion. I have the right to do it. And I'm thinking, holy smokes.
And so I want to make something very clear, because conservatives really believe in abiding by what the court says, right? And if this was a Democrat, we'd be blasting the Democrat for ignoring a Supreme Court ruling, right? I mean, let's be honest. We would. Yeah. We'd be blasting them.
We would.
But what Abbott did was something different. After the ruling, he then declared an invasion. So now it's a whole different situation. Right. Now this isn't the ruling.
That's why I'm saying, like, the beauty of what he did was he played chess and not checkers. And the Biden administration was sort of still playing the old school game of checkers, and was like, oh, he's going to have to abide by this. And I don't know if it's because he's a lawyer and he'd been attorney general, or they had war game this, but it was really smart how they did it.
I've watched Greg Abbott I've been in Texas 22 years now, I guess. And I've watched Greg Abbott from attorney general all the way through his many, I can't even remember how many years he's been governor, a lot. He was a judge. That's his background. And his problem as governor has been, he would overthink everything like a judge. Right. Well, what does the opinion say? What's going to happen if I do this? What would then have? And don't think about all that stuff. Right. Just do it. That's what Trump would do. He just do it. That's what Democrats do. They just do it and then fight me in court, and it'll take you 2 or 3 years. Right. And we'll get what we want, and then ultimately it might get overturned, but who cares?
Well, that's the beauty. Right now, we're finally learning to stop looking at the rule book, and we're saying, throw it out, play ball. So let me ask you the second part of this question. Based on what's happening in Washington, the argument on the Sunday shows today was, this is the best deal you're going to get from a Republican standpoint, because Biden suddenly goes, if you give me the tools. And by the way, tomorrow on my show, I have Chad Wolf, the former acting secretary of Homeland Security, because this whole thing of, like, he doesn't have the tools. Suddenly 3 years in, he doesn't have anyway, so I'm going to ask him about that. But the mainstream media today on the shows was making the case that, like, Republicans, dude, this is the best deal you're ever going to get. Take it. Take the deal. I don't think that that's a smart idea, but that's what they want us to believe. This is the best deal we're ever going to get.
If I was on a Sunday morning talk show, I would laugh at the host. I'd be like, you mean the best deal we get is 5,000 illegals a day? That's right. 2 million over the course of the year. That's more than we ever had under the Trump administration. Why would we? Your process, you want more judges
can I tell you
process?
What, though? Here's where I think the messaging needs to get fine-tuned, just tweaked. I think the retort should be, I think we've played this game of how, like, we get it. They want people illegally coming to this country.
Right.
I think that we should just go, whether it's Kristen Welker or Dana Bash or whomever, just go, how many terrorists should we let in?
Right.
Give me a number. Give me a number. How many terrorists should come in? And just stop the conversation like that, because that's what we should be turning to every Democrat and just saying, when they go blah blah blah, humane this, asylum, just going,
I
okay,
want to. I
how
want to
many
give you a
terrorists do you
guy.
think is acceptable? Just give me a number. Make them put a number, because this is what we should have been doing on abortion, just saying how many weeks is acceptable. And they won't do it. And we've got to turn the argument on them and say, okay, I just want you to give me a number. How many terrorists should come into this country before we take some serious efforts? And they'll go, but just do me a favor. Give me a number. Should it be 1, 5, 100? Just give me a number. And that's how we can win this argument, is on a safety and a security one. We know that they want people illegally to come into this country. We know that that's their ultimate play. So don't play their game. This gets back to what we were talking about. Change the rule book. We've got to start saying, okay, how many terrorists are acceptable? How much fentanyl should come in?
I interviewed a former Border Patrol agent who just retired, had over 30,000 arrests on the line in Border Patrol. Over his 20-something year career, he encountered 5 special interest aliens. Those are aliens that come from terror-born countries that have a history of terrorism. 5 he encountered in almost 30 years. He said if he would have let one of them go, he would have been fired on the spot. We have had over 100 a month that we know of come in across our southern border. 100 a month. He encountered 5 in 30 years, and we have 100 a month now.
But that's my point, is that we need to start flipping the argument. By the way, search and destroy, I'm reading your thing. You can't have a logical argument with a Democrat. I get it. I agree with you. And then Anna, I'm sorry, making a good point about the drugs. I think that's absolutely smart. Maureen, I agree. Chad Wolf is fantastic. He'll be on the show tomorrow afternoon, so please join us.
Can I give you my solution to the border?
Oh, yeah. Oh, please. Let me write it down.
I have a very easy solution.
Oh, okay.
So the first thing you do, you reinstate funding for the wall. It's already there, so you don't have to do anything. It's there, so you start building the wall. Next thing you do, you put remain in Mexico in place, just like before. No new asylum. And then you put catch and deport, not catch and release. But here's the real difference. When we talk about waging war on the cartels, you call the president of Mexico and you say, I'm sending my special forces in and we're cutting the snake off at the head. So we are actually going to be coming into Mexico and we're taking out the cartels. You're either with us or against us. You can consider it an invasion. You don't want to tussle with the United States of America. If you're not with us, then we're cutting off all trade to Mexico as well. But we're coming in and we're going after the cartels. Or you can help us. You can take out the cartels yourself. But the Biden administration is never going to do this. I promise you, President Trump would at least consider the notion of sending special forces in to take out these cartels.
I don't think he would consider it, Grant. I think he would do it. I think you're absolutely right. But here's the point. What you just laid out in 25 seconds is absolutely, as you put it, I mean, it's very simple. It's very easy. What people have to remember, and this is so critical to this discussion, the Biden administration doesn't want to solve it.
Right.
Once people get that through their head, because he's got, 50% of his base, probably the most active part of his base, doesn't want this close. This is kind of akin to the issue that he has with Israel right now, where he realizes that in Michigan and in Georgia, there's a huge Muslim population that hates what he's doing in terms of supporting Israel. So he's trying to walk this fine line at all times. Right. And it's the same thing at the border. He knows how to do it. He's not, I mean, for all of the things you can say about Joe Biden, he's not, frankly, it's not about him. It's about anyone. You just laid it out very succinctly. This is not a tough problem. It's like you walk downstairs, the water in the sink is overflowing. You know what the answer is? You turn the water off at the spigot, whatever.
And guess what, Sean? You don't need a bill to come out of Congress to turn the water off. Okay.
Right.
All you need is someone to turn the water off. And so this is the same. Everything I mentioned, you don't need a bill. You don't need money. You don't need anything to do those things.
Well, but the point is, and this is, again, I'm reading, Mary's saying this, there's too much money and they're making money from it. Yes, they get it. They're not, I mean, say what you will. They're not stupid. They get this. This is part of the plan. And and so my point is that like we keep thinking that we share the same goal, which is stopping this, protecting the people from fentanyl and stopping people from coming in illegally who pose a threat. They don't share that. And that's why I'm saying that number one, we should turn the argument into a national security one. But number two is get real about is understand that we're not all seeing eye to eye. We're not saying, hey, we all want to go to lunch. Do you want to go to McDonald's and you want to go to Applebee's? This is not a disagreement that we all share the same goal. Their goal is to let people to come into the country because they want them eventually to be their voters.
Can I tell you another huge part of all this?
Yeah,
So
please.
you got one guy who commented here.
Wait, hey, Larry, right trash nonsense. Tell me what you think, Larry.
Well, let's see what he writes. So Brian up in I guess in Staten Island or something. So Brian says there's cartels in all 50 states. Maybe so. The biggest part of all of these plans is perception. So all of these illegals coming here, if they finally get the perception that the border's closed, they're not going to come. And part of the perception of going after the cartels is the cartel members think they're going to get killed if they go to the border. That the Navy SEALs are coming for them. Of course you can't take out every one of them. It's perception.
Of course it is. This is the point. I had a buddy of mine who does contract work for the State Department. And he said to me, I'm going to tell you something interesting. He said, during the Trump administration, we were contracted, our firm, to put up these billboards throughout South America that said, the border is closed, don't come. When Biden administration came in, they changed them to say, need help. And then they had an 800 number. And the point is exactly what you're saying. Perception matters. If you believe, I'll get in, I'm going to get a phone, a hotel room, a place to stay, and it's going to take a minimum of 7 years to adjudicate my case, even get a date. And then even if when I miss it, no one's going to track me down. And eventually I'll get permanent status through DACA. And then Colorado's governor is telling them, hey, we want to give you a work permit. We want to do all this stuff. We have pictures of people in line at airports getting on planes with their phone in the baggie and directions. And so this is not rocket scientist. Listen, if you are told when you pick up the phone and call a restaurant, hey, I do this all the time. I'll be interested to go somewhere and go, hey, do you guys have a wait? Yeah, it's at least 2 hours. Okay, I'm not coming. I'm not going to go show up. And if you get told the opposite, which is, hey, come on down, we're wide open, you're going to come. The Biden administration has put a, welcome to America, we're open sign up front, and then go, oh, but please don't come. Please don't come. But come.
Do you know what Border Patrol had printed up? Welcome Patrol patches. Literally, they sent me some. They have these. They're not happy about it. They printed up Welcome Patrol on the logo of the Border Patrol, and they sent me a couple of these patches. How sad is that?
By the way, Larry, in response to my comment, he wrote, right trash nonsense. I said, tell me what part. He wrote LOL. And then he responded, why are 99% of the large cities liberal, Sean? Why are they liberal? Because liberals vote for, because people vote in, tell me. Look at what,
I could tell you why.
Okay, tell me, but
I can tell them why, because they're bought off voters. They're literally bought off with an entitlement programs where the Democrats literally keep them down. I just watched a clip of Michelle Obama saying government is everything to the people. That's what they want inner cities in every city across America. Government to be everything to you. You depend on the food stamps. You depend on the cell phone. Right. You depend on everything instead of opportunity. That's why.
Yeah. The thing that I love so much is I'm watching, I get DC, TV here in terms of the local channels. The CBS in one of the most populous parts of Northwest DC just closed because of crime. They're showing and then the mayor's coming out like, I don't know why. It's because you decriminalized everything. You defunded the police. You crapped all over the cops.
Why do you still live in the swamp? Why do you still live there?
But the thing that's so funny is you can't find a person, Republican, Democrat, or far left liberal, that tells you that DC is safe anymore. It is scary. I went in a few weeks ago, not safe. Actually probably now a couple months ago, and about 5 o'clock, it was still light out. And I was coming out of a garage, and it's like, it instilled, like it just doesn't, there are people that are clearly looking to do things. I had a conversation with a member of Congress probably 2 weeks ago now.
I noticed you wouldn't answer my question, by the way.
Who? I'm sorry.
I noticed you wouldn't answer my question.
I'm sorry. What's your question?
Why do you still live in the swamp? Why do you still
Oh, I live
there?
in Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, but right outside DC.
Look, I don't want to get into my. So I have a
He doesn't
family.
want to get into it.
No. But I have a family, and I'm not going to uproot them. First of all, I have a family, and I have kids that are in the middle of school.
They would love Texas.
We do. I do love Texas. I was stationed down at Fort Worth, and I will tell you, it's probably some of the kindest, nicest. I have done fleet weeks. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff, and when I got down to Fort Worth, I could not. I kept remarking of the dudes in my unit. I'm like, the people in Fort Worth, and maybe this is true throughout Texas, so I don't want, but I was only in the Fort Worth area, are so kind and patriotic. I've never seen anything like this to a T.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I also, first of all, I'm an East Coast guy. I grew up in Rhode Island, and I still spend a good chunk of time in Rhode Island. So that is, and then I'm currently stationed south of here, and so I spend enough time outside of here to get to keep my sanity.
Right.
But I'm sorry. I get it. I do love living here. I have a lot of friends. I've been here a while, Grant. I'm sorry. But,
I always got to bust your balls.
I know you do. I'm going to swear now. Hold on. I'm just looking at why. And then who else? Paula took her message back. I want to know what it says. Why do this is Larry again. Why do red voting counties only contribute 30%? I don't know, Larry.
30% of what? What does it say?
Of GDP.
Oh, that's
they contribute. I'll tell you this: we wouldn't have stuff on the table without the farmers throughout the Midwest. I mean, I don't know what number it is, but you wouldn't be eating if it wasn't for the agriculture business of the people of Iowa and Wisconsin dairy farmer. I mean, all these people. I don't know what number it is or how much it is they contribute, but what they do contribute is critical to our country. And I'll tell you this: they are the backbone of our military. I mean, just. The heartland of our country. It's amazing.
Here's another one from Larry. He says, tell us about per capita crime in rural America. We can't because there is none.
The funny thing is, it's funny. I remember this story. So after Trump wins in 2016, I'm up in New York, and I'm trying to remember who I was with. One of the guys from the campaign, and we went out and met a bunch of the big poobahs at NBC. They're no longer there because they all got canned. And they said they took us out to this really nice dinner, and they said, look, we missed it. We admit it. We missed it. So we're going to get these pop-up bureaus throughout the country. And because we want to show you that we get it. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet of you. You're going to parachute into Montana, ride a horse, and then suddenly you think you have a clue. It's like all these dudes the other night who swung by the Georgetown at Patagonia in DC and then flew to Iowa. And we're like, it's really cold in Des Moines. I just left the Marriott and had to go to the Iowa Events Center. Like they walked 6 blocks and suddenly they're like, I talked to an Iowan. And I'm like, dude, that's called your Uber driver. And that was the extent of their reporting. So listen, by the way, Bob is asking about Grant's YouTube channel. We are working on this. I have made it a personal mission. I'm not going to get into the details, but I want to get Grant back on YouTube. But that's why we're committed to being on Rumble and all the different channels as well. Hold on, I miss Stinchfield being on Newsmax. What about me, Bob? You miss Stinchfield? Hello. How do you think we know each other?
He's here, isn't he? He's on with you, so of course he misses you too.
Hold on, Bob says Grant's my brother. No, he didn't. All right,
Bob, thank you. Real America's Voice, Bob. You'll love it. And the first.
Wait. Fox 007. I get it, Sean. I'm in California. I ask similar questions. My family's here. And I see, you know what the funny thing is, Bob? I went out. I did Dancing with the Stars, as you may know. Quarterfinalist. And the people of LA that I got to meet with, by and large, are just really nice people. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, and I feel bad for the government that are trapped in. By the way, Grant, one thing I want to ask you, because I know time is short, and I thought this was brilliant, and this is the last thing I want to just touch base with you on before, because I know it's a Sunday night.
Yeah, you know what I have to do? I have my son, and everyone will be mad at me that I'm going to watch NFL because conservatives say you can't watch NFL. I'm watching
didn't say
NFL.
what
I
you
go
were
through this
doing.
all the time. You know what? I love football. I love it. And I love watching it with my son. And
Okay,
so
okay.
we'll eat pizza and watch football. So
Okay, you know what? I didn't say what you were doing. You should have just said you were going to church. Anyway, you're in Texas a couple hours before you get like the late mass. Anyway, so here's the thing. The other day, there's this RNC. The RNC is going to have its winter meeting in Vegas coming up. And Dave Bossy, the genius behind the debates, put a resolution forward saying that Trump should be declared the nominee. And I was like, oh, God. And then all of a sudden, Trump comes out, puts out this Truth Social statement and says, thanks. I want to win it the right way. I want to earn it. And I thought, that's exactly the deal. And it was funny because I talked to Steve Bannon about this with respect to the debates. Here's what I want. I want everybody to have a choice. They get to vote and they choose Trump, because all of these never Trump wussies are going to say that he stole it. Nikki's now saying that he's being coronated. I want Trump to go, you know what? I ran through the tape and I was chosen by far. And that was brilliant by him.
Do you know what I think is hilarious? Nikki Haley claimed the political elite and the establishment have declared Trump the winner, and I'm out. And here I am. I'm declaring Trump the winner and all that. I have never been accused of being a political elitist or an establishment guy. She is the quintessential establishment person if there ever was one. She sided with Democrats and she was claiming that. But I love that President Trump says, I want to win it. But he's already won it.
I know, but here's the beauty is that if they had declared him the presumptive nominee, and in 2015, 2016, when I was at the RNC, we did it in May after the Indiana primary when there was no path forward for Ted Cruz, like mathematically. Yeah. And so it made sense. But right now, I love the fact that what he's trying to say is, you want to run against me, do it. I'm going to crush you, and then I will win it. And that way, none of these people can whine that there was a coronation and the media and the RNC.
Let me just say this. I think primaries are great for parties because I think they make the candidate better. Yes. Even if the candidate is the presumptive nominee, like President Trump, it makes him better to have to go through these things. It's like a warm-up. The only difference with this primary is I think something nefarious is at play. I think Nikki Haley, either she's in on it or she's being used, but in the end, I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm worried about President Trump. But she's got all of these Democrat donors, these handful of billionaires that are funding her campaign. All that is about debilitating President Trump before the general election. They want to send him through the meat grinder, make him spend money, all of this stuff just to weaken him for the general. And I believe Nikki is being used to do that. It's not about Nikki Haley winning. It's about damaging President Trump. And that is not a legitimate primary.
Fair enough. But here's what I'll say. He is going to come out of this with all these people saying, you know what, our guy got a shot or our woman got a shot and he defeated them. And we should get behind him. The earliest that we've had a general election is March, meaning that someone has dropped out. And that was, I think, 2004. So I'm a fan of this. Like, I mean, again, listen, would I like it to get over and focus on Biden right now? Yeah. But you know what? South Carolina is February 24th. It's going to be a blowout. And then there's no excuses. Today, by the way, it was funny listening to her excuses where she kept saying, like, we need to do better. And it's like, it's your state. You were governor twice. There's no, like, if you can't win there, you don't get to go on.
I mean, she only has one elected leader in South Carolina endorsing her.
By the way, we're putting out Grant's Rumble feed on the comment section. So if you want to follow Grant, watch the show, go to his on Rumble. I put it out in the comments right now.
Yeah, please subscribe. You know what? I've got a great podcast tomorrow about Michelle Obama and the idea that they want to, and it really digs down on how the Democrat Party can do it. So it's really more about how they can do it and their rules and how their rules set up and when would be the timing and all of these things.
All right, I'm watching this.
Okay.
Because I want to listen. I have said for a while, I get it, but I don't. So I want to hear Grant Stinchfield's take tomorrow on his podcast about how this is possible, because I get it. I know why everyone thinks it. I've just said that these guys can't. They're not going to pull it off. By the way, I will say this one thing before I forget, because I was talking to somebody right after church today who is in the hears a lot of scuttlebutt. If you want to help take back the White House, find out how you can be a poll watcher this year, because this is going to be critical. Get trained, find out, reach out to the local party and say, I would like to be a poll watcher. We need to have people at every one of the polls to do their civic duty, to make sure that all the rules are followed. They will train you. They will ensure that you know how to do everything. But if you want to be a part of the effort this year, I don't think that there's anything greater than you can do than, I mean, obviously get out the vote, but take part in, call your local party and say, I'd like to be a poll watcher, figure out where the trainings are. Please do this. A friend of mine after church today said the Democrats, are very concerned that Republicans are going to be more and more engaged. So please do that. Anyway, Grant, go watch your NFL.
Yeah, I know. Everybody gets so mad at me. They go crazy on the freaking radio when I start talking about taking a knee. No, you know what I'm going to do? If I was an NFL player in today's world, I'm taking a knee. You ready for this? This is gonna get you banned on YouTube. I'm taking a knee during the Black National Anthem.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I'm taking a knee during the Black National Anthem because we only need one, because it doesn't matter what color you are.
Oh, sure. But we'll see if they do that this year.
That won't get you banned, I don't think.
I don't think so. All right. Grant, thank you for doing this. Go spend time with your son. That I am a huge fan of. I'll wrap up. Thank you guys.
Hey, a whole bunch of people said they subscribed to the podcast on Rumble.
I know. I'm looking at the engagement is through the roof. Larry's still at it. Sean, globalization goalpost. Hold on. I can't see the rest of this.
How dare you bring up globalists, Larry?
Yeah. This is probably not the right criticism, Larry.
Hey, Sean, you're great, buddy. I'm so happy we're friends.
Wait,
I really
Grant,
am.
I wear glasses
friend.
too, but with wire frames. I don't know what that means.
They don't. These are my glasses. I don't know. I got these. I have Rudy Giuliani glasses. You want to see my Rudy Giuliani glasses?
Oh, can you do? I can't do a good.
You see those?
I do. I used to be able to do a lot of really good impressions. I could never do Rudy.
No, I can't do Rudy. I only do one good impression.
Who's that?
Well, you want to guess who it is?
Trump.
Nope. I know. I'm going to do I'm going to do the impression, and you guess who it is.
Oh, okay, go.
All right, you ready? Here we go. I just want to tell you that I love watching your show, and it's an amazing, amazing show, Sean. And you are all about free speech, and I'm very, very impressed with how you are so into freedom. But I just hate that you're not a climate change zealot.
Well, I would tell you, Bobby, that freedom isn't free, and every man needs to have a horse and a donkey in the barn. And when the car runs out of gas, you've got to go to the filling station and fill it up.
So you're a one-upper then, I guess, is what that is.
Well, that wasn't bad. All right. Grant Stinchfield, please subscribe to the pod. I mean, I feel like I could go on for another 20 minutes just telling people how to subscribe to you. You got the podcast, Rumble.
The Rumble is the most important. And of course, Instagram is my favorite platform to be on because I have a big following. Stinchfield 1776. But it's Stinchfield 1776 everywhere, at Truth and Getter and everything. So Stinchfield 1776.
Is there a Stinchfield 1775 just out of interest?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe there should be.
I may get that tonight. If I'm feeling it.
Just so you can say I was first.
Let's see how this game goes, because if it just tanks right now, the Lions are up 21-7. I think.
Is that true?
Yes, I got it on right here.
I got to get out of here, man.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, my. Oh! He just dropped it at the 50. The 49ers, that was embarrassing. Grant Stinchfield, go spend time with your son.
All right, buddy. You're the best. Thank you to all watching, too. Stinchfield's Army rolls, as I always say. We'll see you, buddy.
Hey, brother. All right, guys. Big thank you to my friend Grant. That was fun. And he really is spending time with his son. And so I appreciate him taking some time away from his family to be with all of us tonight. I also really appreciate all of you guys being here. I love your comments. Larry, you just make semi-automatic gun owners respect military hardware again. Dude, I don't know what's going on with you. If you're okay, um, Grandma, I see you again. Good to see you. Um, Ronnie says I haven't done Rumble, but I'll check it out. It's great. I mean, it's YouTube without the censorship. To be blunt, I'm just. Oh, John says Mayor Quimby. Sorry, maybe I got to work on that. It's been a while. I didn't. I had to be able to respond quick. Anyway, couple things. Tomorrow, as I said, Chad Wolf is on the show, and then Congressman Keith Self. Chad, obviously, I want to get to the bottom of this. Oh, the Biden can't do anything right now. I mean, that's what he keeps saying. Biden can't do anything. He needs legislation. Okay, well, Trump seemed to be able to get some things done, remain in Mexico, etc. Why not? And I think Chad Wolf could just bottom line this. Can you actually get something done without congressional approval? I'll leave it to him to answer the question, but you'll find out with me tomorrow. And then Congressman Keith Self, obviously from Texas, he's going to give us a firsthand look at what's going on, but also like what's the reality of this deal. So do me a favor. I brought this up at the beginning. Please, please, please do me a favor and subscribe. Tell your friends, hit that subscribe and notification button on YouTube. If you can do me one favor tonight, go to Apple, go open your phone, go to the podcast thing. It's purple. Find the Sean Spicer Show and just hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just super helpful for growth of the show and the program, for our sponsors. I love hanging out with you guys. Obviously, we seem to have a really solid crowd on Sunday night. So we'll see. No games next weekend. So I think we'll be here. Thanks, Search and Destroy. I appreciate you being here and all your feedback. I mean, I'm reading all the stuff. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you as much. I'm looking through a couple. Maureen, appreciated all this. Mary, never Nikki. Yep, I heard that. Anyway, Cindy in Michigan. Thank you all for your feedback, for your comments, for your support. I really appreciate it. Well, tomorrow night, by the way, if you have any thoughts on we had a great show with Tommy Lahren on Friday, a lot of positive feedback. If you have a thought about a guest, you're always free to put it in. I love the ideas. I got an email through my website the other day, and someone said, "Hey, we want you to get Victor Davis Hanson on." I put out a call to him. They wanted to hear more about California issues. I get it. I'm in. Let's do it. So I listen to your ideas and your thoughts, and when you have them, let us know, and we're going to continue to grow with you because of you. Thank you very much. Have a great Sunday night. I don't know. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow, or next weekend. But have a great week if I don't see you again. Thanks.